Hi there! The Northeast Indiana Farm to School team is proud to share our Harvest of the Month video series. In each video, we will visit a different farm in Northeast Indiana to learn where our food comes from. We will be able to meet our farmers and learn how they grow each of our Harvest of the Month fruits and vegetables.
Welcome to Something Better with Beth. This small urban farm located in a garage in Fort Wayne, Indiana, grows lots of microgreens in a very small space. Meet Beth Ritzman. She is the farmer and owner of Something Better with Beth. Let's listen as Farmer Beth tells us about her micro farm.
So I call my farm a micro farm. It's a play on words a little bit because of the word microgreens, which is what I grow, but also because my farm is very small. And so it is a micro farm, since micro means small. My farm is about 250 square feet, which is incredibly small. When you think about farms, you think about many acres and really huge farms, but this is a very small one. So my farm is located just south of downtown Fort Wayne, very close to Foster Park, in a regular neighborhood. So you might not even know that there's a farm here when you drive by. I am the director of the farm. I do everything from planting seeds to watering every day, checking the humidity levels, and then harvesting, packaging, and delivering every week. So I've been a farmer for about 3 years, since about 2020, but I've been a gardener for about 25 years. So while I'm running this business and taking care of my family, I'm also very passionate about gardening. I love growing food for my family. I love sharing it with the people around me, my neighbors, and I just think that it's aesthetically pleasing to have plants growing in your yard. It's beautiful. I love farming because, again, I love growing food for people. I love knowing that what I'm producing is of high quality and is going to nourish their bodies and their families. One of the reasons that I love growing microgreens is because I'm a mom, and I've got 6 kids, and several of them are still at home, and they love having smoothies and fresh food. Our family loves eating fresh food. So when I can't garden outside, I love being able to bring in fresh food from my microgreens farm for my family. My farm is special because I get to grow year-round, so no matter whether it's cold outside or really hot outside, I can grow the same things every week of the year because I have a very climate-controlled space, which means that the temperature and the light and the humidity, it stays the same year-round as much as I can. So that's one of the things that makes my farm special.
What are microgreens?
Microgreens are the small seedling version of regular vegetables. We're going to harvest them while they're still very small. And the reason for that is they're much more tender and flavorful than their full-grown counterparts. And they also have much higher concentrations of nutrients. So that's one of the things that make microgreens so special. So we grow about 12 to 18 types of microgreens every week. The most popular varieties of microgreens are radish, broccoli, sunflowers, and peas. So when you think about microgreens, you think of the color green, but there's really a lot of different colors that come with microgreens. So one of the most popular ones we have is broccoli. And broccoli might not be your favorite vegetable, but if you've tried it with microgreens, you can put it in smoothies, you can put it with fried eggs or scrambled eggs. It is green, but it's also very flavorful and sweet compared to broccoli. So we also have peas, which are quite tall, and they're also green, and they have a sweet pea flavor. We have amaranth, which is a fuchsia, bright fuchsia red color, and it really jumps out at you. And it's one of the shorter microgreens that we have. We have microgreens that taste like onions, and they are micro leeks, and they still hold on to their seed holes because most microgreens let go of their seed holes while they're growing. Some of them hold on to them, and that's okay because they add a little bit of texture and flavor to the microgreens. So the radish microgreens that I grow are actually 3 different colors. One of them is a dark purple, one of them is a light green, and one is a really pretty pink. And I grow them all together, and they do have that spicy flavor that you would think of when you think of radishes. So when you think about sunflowers, you think of the tall, beautiful flowers in your garden. But You can eat the entire plant. It's completely edible, and we actually grow sunflowers as a microgreen. So it's about this tall, and it's actually quite sweet and nutty. So we grow about 30 to 40 pounds of microgreens every single week. So everything that you see growing behind me is going to be harvested tomorrow and packaged up and delivered on Thursday. We grow several hundred packages of microgreens every week in this little farm.
How do you grow microgreens?
In order to grow microgreens, first we're going to start with soil and seeds. I feel that plants grow best in soil, and it's really important to me that my microgreens get nothing but pure water and light. In order to plant microgreens, we start with a tray of nicely draining soil. It's important that the soil drains well, but still holds on to some moisture. So we start with that tray of soil, and then we weigh out our seeds. There's a precise amount of seeds that we put on each tray, and then we sprinkle them very gently over the tray. And then we water it gently, and then we stack them on a shelf. And then we stack them about 5 high. And then that's where they germinate. Here's our germination area. This is where we've stacked our trays full of germinating seeds. We have a heavy weight on top, which actually pushes down on the seeds and encourages them to send their roots down deep into the tray. And it also encourages them to push up as they try to grow and make very strong stems. Germination is when the seeds just start to grow. And then once they have germinated, we move them from those racks under the lights. And then they get to grow and reach up towards the lights, and they get water and light until it's time to harvest them. So the trays that I have is really 2 trays. So the top tray has holes in it for the roots to go down. The bottom tray has no holes, so it holds water. So when I go to water my microgreens, I lift the top tray, I water inside there, and then I put it back down, and then the roots can go down and get the amount of water they need. That way I don't disturb the top of the microgreens or damage them at all by spraying on the top of them. I have timers on the lights, and all of the microgreens get about 12 hours of direct light and 12 hours of dark. Plants actually grow the best in the dark, so they need to have those hours of darkness to grow their best. They move from the lights to the harvest area. That's where we do all the harvesting and packaging, and then they go straight into the refrigerators to stay nice and fresh until we deliver them to our customers.
How do you harvest microgreens?
Most of my microgreens have a 10-day cycle. So I plant the seeds on Monday, and then I harvest them on Wednesday. Different microgreens are ready to harvest at different times or at different heights. Some of them are only about 1 inch high, and some of them are about 6 to 8 inches high. And that depends on the variety of microgreens. So harvesting microgreens is pretty easy. You want to wear gloves to keep them nice and clean, and use a very sharp knife. Scissors would crush the stems, and they wouldn't last as long in the fridge. So it's important to use a knife to harvest them. We harvest them by the handful, and then we put them into the container that they're going to be sold in. So we sell our microgreens in 3 specific ways. We sell them directly to families around Fort Wayne. We also sell them to stores where people can go and buy them. And we sell them directly to chefs that work for restaurants.
How do you eat microgreens?
So microgreens are so flavorful that one of the best ways that you can use them is to include them in your everyday meals. A lot of our chefs will add them to their really fancy meals. They can be very artistic with the different colors and textures of microgreens. And some people just like to add them to their salads or put them on top of their eggs or put them in a sandwich. That's one of my favorite ways to use microgreens is in a sandwich for lunch. My favorite microgreen is broccoli because it is the most healthy microgreen I grow. It has a compound in it called sulforaphane, which is super good for your body. And so I like to put it in smoothies. I like to have some broccoli in my meals every single day.
Thanks for visiting the Something Better with Beth micro farm and learning all about microgreens. And remember to thank our farmers, like Farmer Beth, for producing delicious food for us all to eat.